That is a great starting point, but we'll go over that. Okay, so settle down. I'm gonna go ahead and keep making sure I check the chat. I am recording now. That way, when we go over this math, if you guys need to slow it down, go back and look over some questions in case I'm moving fast, you'll be able to do that. So it's all about showing me the money today. When it comes to real estate, you want to make sure you know this math, especially the math that's going to be on the test. A lot of this math you're not really going to see it unless you're like in commercial. But some of this stuff, especially when it comes to commission, you want to make sure you know this stuff so you can get you guys checks and you can make sure you're getting paid right. But we're going to go over commission map, depreciation, frontage, and a lot more. So you're going to see some stuff up here. These are things that are going to be on the test for you. I would tell you when it's time for you to take your test, you want to go ahead and use the scrap sheet of paper that they're giving you. Use that. Soon as they say go or you can go ahead, write down the formulas or whatever it is, or if there's some math problems that you got, go ahead and write that down. For some people too, like you said, good point, Kelly, I would definitely, if math is not your suit and you're scared and it just takes you forever, I would definitely do the math first and then I will go back and then answer all the rest of the questions. Okay. That way you don't want to answer the questions and then you don't have time to really do your math. So let's go ahead and dive in. So commission. So commission equal house selling price times commission percentage. That is always what it is. Don't overthink it. All right. I am going to show the T-chart method for those who are T-chart people. If you know math and you can see it, you'll be fine. I know I always give example, me and my husband, I could say, honey, what is 435? Take away 158. And I'm carrying numbers over, and he's like, how are you carrying, so everybody look at math differently. So however your math style is, that is perfectly fine. If you're able to see the problem and it's easy for you to figure it out that way, go ahead. If you need the T-chart, it is okay to use it. So I'm going to do both ways, but when it comes to commission math, just remember the house price times the percentage is going to give you what that price is going to give you what the commission is. All right. And we're going to do some problems and dive in so you guys would be just fine. So stop what you're doing now. Like this video, like and subscribe. I do want you guys to make sure you're checking the math series. This is part 2. We are going to do another one, a few other ones that we're going over because we're just getting this math out the way, guys. I don't want you struggling with math. I did have a lot of people that personally messaged me, asked me, can I go over math? So that way you can make sure you're getting the alerts and that you're not missing anything before your test. Like and subscribe. As always, let your girl know when you pass. I love to know when you pass. I know these past people that passed, we had about 10 people reach out to me 2 days ago and pass. And so we sent something in the mail and I did get notification that you guys got it. So I like to give out gifts here and there when when you guys pass, but you got to tell me. You got to tell me you pass. So like and subscribe. And yeah. All right. So let's get into it for real this time. So a property market value is $350,000. The assessment rate for the house is 25% with 27.50 mils. Find the annual property taxes. So this right here is more so national, especially if you are in a mill state like North Carolina. This is one that you really want to look at. For if you don't see this on your test, it is perfectly fine. You still want to know how to do this. You just need to not worry about the mills part. All right. So in this problem, we have to find out the annual property taxes, okay? So first off, we have to find out what the assessment value is. So in order to do that, we have to take the market value, which is what? Okay, put it in check. Well, never mind. You guys moving a little bit fast. See answers in here. So like I said, you'll be able to slow this down. And if you need me to slow down, let me know. But we need to find out the assessed value. So we know the market value. So we know that the market value is $350,000. So in order to do that, we have to take the 350, then multiply it by the assessed rate, which is 25%. So we got 350,000, then we times it by the assessed value, which is 25%. So 350,000 times 0.25, or if you are doing regular math, 25%, that equals 87,500. All right. Okay, so the next step is to utilize the meal. So for those who needs to know the assessment rate, which is everybody, you know how to do the assessment rate. We just said 350,000 times 25% give you 87,500. Now, for those who may have the meal on their test and you need to utilize the meal, remember that the meal rate is the amount of tax payable per dollar of the assessment value of the property. So we have to multiply the assessment value by the meal rate, which is then, see some answers, good, 87,500 times 0.2750 equal $2,406.25. So the annual property taxes of this property is going to be $2,406.25. So it doesn't matter which way you did it. It doesn't matter if you did just did it out and you seen it. That may work for you. For my T-chart people, if you had to go 350 times 25% equals that, take that times that equals that. That is what you're doing. So good. Yep. That's how you do it, because you have to move the decimal over. You're going to be moving the decimal over when it comes to that. That's how we got that answer, Jasmine. So it was 27.5. You're going to always move the decimal over 3 points to the left, and that's what's going to give you that. So that's the thing. Some people take the 27.5 and don't move it, and you're going to get a totally separate answer. But in this case, however you look at math, plug it in like that, and you're good. All right, let's move on. I don't see any further questions. So find the annual GRM, gross rent multiplier, a 10-unit building in Miami with an asking price of $5 million and a gross annual rent of $225,000. Round to the nearest hundred. So what are we doing first, guys? What is the first thing that we're going to do? First things first. So the gross rent multiplier is the ratio of the price of the real estate investment to its annual rental income before accounting for the expenses such as property taxes, insurance, and utilities. So more specifically, it's measure of the value of an investment property that is obtained by dividing the property sales price by its gross annual rental income. So the math looks like this, guys. So you're going to take gross rent multiplier, gross, no, okay, sorry, I don't want to, okay. She told me she needed a minute. So you're going to take the gross rent multiplier, okay, equal the property price divided by the gross rent income. So in our case, we're going to say $5 million divided by 225,000. Now you told me I could go. Thank you. And that would give you 22.22. So again, you see the problem, do the problem, write it down. If you need a T-chart, that is perfectly fine. You're going to take the total number here, 5 million. And you know, if it's up and down, you are going to divide. So you're going to divide that by that, and that will simply give you the 22.22. All right? So that is how you do that. You guys are good there. Can we get to commission or interest or something? Okay, let's move along. So what is the interest rate on $200,000 loan that requires an annual interest payment of $8,000? I'm going to give you guys a second. But I'm only giving you a second because it should not take you this long to do this. So, my T-chart people, so you know that they're asking for the interest rate of the loan, okay? So you're always going to take the whole number that you know, the total number, and you're going to put it where? On the left, correct. And so you're not going to put the 8,000 on the right because that's percentage. So you're going to put that at the top. So you're going to say 200,000 8,000 divided by 200,000 is simply going to give you 4%. All right. If you plug it in, guys, and you keep, like if you don't know, I don't know where, whatever, when you know 200,000 is not going to go at the top because the total, the bigger number goes to the left and the smaller number goes at the top. So you know you have the whole and then you have the total. We have the part and the total, okay? So don't get confused with that. But if you're just going to divide it out, divide it out. But if you need a T-chart, make sure you know that up and down is division, to side by side is multiplication. Okay? All right. So a house sells for $330,000 in Albany, New York, and the commission check is handed to the broker. which is $17,325. What was the percentage the broker received in this transaction? So, what are we going to do first? So, in order to figure this out, we can do one of two things. So, the first and the easiest one is to take the commission check and divide it by the price the property sold for. Okay? So, you can do it that way. And then there's another way to do it. Good. I'm starting to see some answers. Good, good, good. So the first and the easiest way to take the commission check, and you're going to divide it by the price of the property sold. So to do this, you're going to say $17,325 divided by the 330,000 equals 0.0525. And remember, 0.0525 is actually 5.25%, right? So that is how you're going to do that. So there's another way to do it. So that's one way to do it, okay? Just to go ahead and do that. So by doing it that way, you can say that the broker received 5.25% commission of this transaction. The second way we can solve this is for the percentage. Josh, I think that's what you did, is to take the choices of the answer choices, and then you multiply them by the price of the property, and you see what match you get. So for instance, I'm going to say 330,000, which I took from the home sale, and I'm going to times it by 6%, and it's going to give me 19,800. Well, that's not 17,325, so I know that's not the answer, right? All right. So then if I say 330,000, the home sale, times it by 5.2%, that's where we get it from. That equals 17,160. So that's not the answer either, because it said the commission 17,325. But if I say 330,000 times 5.25%, that is simply going to give me 17,325. So I would say this: some people do it the first way, then they check their answer the second way. Or some people just do it the second way. If you do it the second way, it's perfectly fine. Just don't go with the first answer. I always you want to check it out. You just want to check it. Or don't say, oh, well, 520 is 17,160. Let me try to round it. I don't know. Some people be doing some crazy stuff. So just go ahead and check your answers, guys, and make sure if you're going to do the second way, you take the sale price and you times it by the percentage. Now, for my T-chart people, what you're simply doing is you're taking the sale price, you're going to put it here, and you're going to times it by the 5.25, and that is simply going to give you $17,325. All right. Any questions? Good. Good, good, good. All right. So, assuming there is no extra fees and the broker is representing the buyer and the seller, what was the final sale price of the property if the commission rate was 5.25 and the broker received 8,000? Round to the nearest cent. So, how are we doing that? So, like we said before, there's one or two ways to do this, right? So, how are we going to do that? I'm going to give you guys a little extra time to put it in the chat. All right, let's do it. So the formula for finding the commission is pretty simple. Just times whatever the percentage you have by the total price of the house. In this case, they give us the rate. Okay, so we know what the rate is. Okay, so they give us the rate. So for my T-chart people, you already know to put the rate where the percentage is. Okay, and what the broker received. So we know what the rate is. So they give us the rate and what the broker receives. So we have to adjust steps. Okay. So in order to find the commission, you can take 8,000 and divide it by the percentage, which is 0.0525, makes your total the 152,380, okay, 0.95. Alternatively, you can also take the answers and then you multiply each one by the 0.0525 or by 5.25%, okay, if you're using your calculator. So you would either say, do the answer choice. I would say 42,000 times 5.25. Well, that don't give me 8,000. Or I'm going to say 152,000 152,380 0.95. Okay, that doesn't give me That doesn't, what does that give me? Yes. Yep. So then if you take that, like we said in the T chart, I was reading your question. Like you said in the T chart, if you take the 520,380.95 and you times it by 5.25, that is going to give you that. Or you can, don't forget, this is the total. Take the 8,000 at the top because you know the 8,000. And then you're going to divide it by the 5.25, and that will also give you your answer. So you guys have either one that you can work with, which I did that pretty good, and I'm proud of you guys. So you're going to see stuff like that on the test. So you definitely want to make sure you know both ways of how to figure it out and use whichever one worked best for you. So an agent lists a seller's home for 6% commission. The final sales price for the home is $555,000. How much commission did the seller actually pay? How much they actually pay. So again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because you know what it is that you need to do. If you don't know what it is that you need to do, T-chart people, you take the total number. That will be on the left. You will put the percent on the right. All right. So that will give you, yep. Good job. So remember, in terms of commission, it is included in the sale price, not in the additional to. Okay. So for this problem, it's simply the 555,000 and you times it by 0.06 or 6%, and that equals to that answer. All right. Good job, guys. Jane is considering buying a lakefront property. She learns that a property there just sold for 700,000 and had a frontage on the lake totaling 400 feet. About how much did the property sell per front foot? So when it comes to this, guys, you know when you do a frontage, you're always going to calculate that first. Okay? So for all costs, you're going to divide the price per square foot, divided by acre, divided by the front foot. Okay, so you're going to convert it into measurements. So in this case, you're going to divide the cost, divide value by the unit of the measurement, and real estate front math, or the frontage of the property measurement of the front of the parcel, is the joining water. So when a lot describes, the front feet are always given first. So in this case, you will have to do the following. 700,000 divided by 40 equals $1,750. Okay? That is what that is. So you are simply always doing the frontage first. So you're going to take the frontage, 700,000, and divide it by 40. Okay? And that's what's going to equal that. Does that make sense? I'm surprised nobody has questions on this one because I would really like to dive in. So you got it. You understand how we went from 700 to 70 and 400 to 40. Okay, good. Yep. Because for all the costs, you're going to divide the price per square foot divided by the acres. You're going to divide it by the front foot to convert to measurements. Yep. I'm really proud of you. No questions on this. Okay. I was ready to dive in. All right. You work for a broker that gives you a 50% commission on every sale you make in a transaction. Your broker receives $45,250.50. Check how much, 50-cent check. How much do you get in terms of commission? So it's a 50 split. Your broker got 45,250, 50-cent check. How much do you get in terms of commission, guys? So we're doing the same thing that we've been doing when it comes to commission math. You're going to figure out this problem, you multiply the commission percentage by the check received. In this case, it would be 0.5 times $45,250.50 equals $22,625.25. All right. Same thing with my T-chart people. You are going to put the big number on the left, and then you're going to times it by the 50%, and that is going to give you that. We're going to break down too when we get into the next part. We're going to break down because a lot of times you will see math like this. Well, you're going to see math like this on the test, but you guys want to be able to figure out if it's 50% commission is for every sale. And then I'm on a team as well, and my team get 80-20 split. How much are they getting now? So like those questions and things, you guys want to make sure you understand and you can grasp it. So we're definitely going to go over those too, Jonathan. So that's the only reason why I mentioned it, because I know you just I seen your question. A home listed sells for 465,000 and the transaction broker receives 6% of the sale price and you receive 55% of their check. How much commission do you receive in this transaction? So a home was listed for sale for 465,000. The broker receives 6%, you receive 55%. What is the math? So the answer is $15,345. So first thing first, we have to find out how much commission the broker received total. In order to do that, we take the selling price and multiply it by the commission percentage. So in that case, it is the 465,000 times 6%, T-chart people, that equals 27,900. All right. Then you are going to, so we know that the 27,900 is what the broker received. So sometime you're going to see this problem and they may just ask you, what did the broker receive? Not you. They may even say you received 55%, but what did the broker receive? So you want to make sure you know that the broker received $27,900. All right. In this case, they're also asking you, what did you receive? Okay. So the broker received 27,900 total there, and you receive 55%. So 55% of that, so 27,900 times 55% equal $15,345 in this transaction. So again, T-chart people, 465 times 6%. Take that answer, 27.9, and times it by 55%, and that will give you the top number, which is $15,345. So as you guys keep doing this, again, it gets easier for you. That's why you're able to answer this so much faster. The formula is the same. Repetition is your best friend. So if you guys feel like this is something that you struggle with, just continue to work on it. Go back, look at the problems, pause this video, answer it yourself, check the answer. You get it wrong, go back and do it again tomorrow until you get it right, okay? But you guys have it. Don't overthink this math. Just don't overthink it, okay? Because you got it, all right? You're doing so good right now. I'm so proud of you guys. You're doing so, so good. All right, let's go again. So, assuming there's no extra fees and the broker is representing the buyer and the seller, what was the final sale price of the property if the commission rate is 6% and the broker received 24,000? So, Samantha, in this case, in some states, you can represent both parties. Okay, you can represent both parties. Florida, you cannot. You cannot do dual agency. But let's just say that the broker is representing the buyer and another person in the firm or somebody else is representing the seller. It's not the same person, okay? So let's just look at it like that. We're not talking about dual when it comes to Florida because you cannot do dual. So that was a great question there. So just don't overthink that. I understand what you meant by thinking that, but that has nothing to do with this problem. What we need to know with this problem is that the commission rate is 6% and the broker received $24,000. So the answer is 400,000, guys, because the formula for finding this commission is pretty simple. Same thing we've been doing. Just times whatever the percentage you have about the total price of the home. And in this case, they give us the rate and what the broker received. So we have to adjust a couple steps in order to find the commission. So you can take 24,000 and divide it by the percentage, which is 6%, and that would give you 400,000. Again, for those who don't need T-chart, you took 24,000 and you divided by 0.6 because you changed the decimal, which gave you 100,000. In my T-chart, we took the part 24,000 and we divided by 6% because we needed to get the total. And don't get confused here because remember, the total's the bigger number. There's no way you would have put 24,000 here because that is a part. That number is smaller than what the total would be, okay? So 24 divided by 6 equal 400,000. Again, like any other problem, alternatively, you could have took the answer choices and multiplied them all by 6%. So you could have said 400,000 times 6% is going to give you the $24,000. I want to make sure I'm reading these charts. Yep. Yep. Good. Yep. Yep. Because if you did 24,000 divided by 6%, you're not going to, I mean, 24,000 times 6%. Yes, you got that answer. You're not going to get that. If you do 14,000 times 400, you're not getting that either. You're not getting 24,000. So if you say 400,000 divided by 400,000 times 6%, that's going to give you your 24,000. All right. So good job, guys. Again, remember, it's always two ways. You don't have to do two ways. Figure out what is your way. That's what's important. Figure out what's your way. So we need to get into part 3, guys. Part 3, we're really going to dive in a little bit more. We're going to go into you are on a team. You're getting 50%, your broker's getting 65% because that is on the test, guys. And then that way, when you see the answer, you already know how to do it. You're doing so good with this commission math. So, like I said, don't overthink it. Math may not be for everybody, but don't overthink it. But we are going to dive right in. We're going to go into depreciation, commission, interest rates, all in part 3. Before we go ahead and get started with that, please stop what you're doing, like and subscribe so you know when you see part 3. When part 3 come out or with any of these things, guys. And let's open up for some questions. So I'm going to go ahead and open up for some questions for you guys. You guys are doing so good. You say you didn't have any questions, but I just want to, make sure you understand it before we move on to this part 3. So I'm going to open up some questions now. Let's take a break. I'll pause this and we'll be right back.